Well, greetings and salutations, test takers. This is the Series 7 Guru coming to you from my off-grid studio, getting our kicks on Route 66 with an explication request. If you have an explication request, send your question to or your request to explication request at guruexamprep.com. This could be a practical application question once in a blue moon. Mainly it's recognition about the Uniform Practice Code standardizing trading practices within the securities industry and knowing that buyers pay sellers the dollar amount of the accrued interest. And very rarely you might have to do this. All right, so let's get this question explicated. A corporate bond pays interest on a J&J schedule. We should know the bonds pay semi-annually, and so this means you would expect an interest check on January 15th from the issuer and July 15th from the issuer, assuming they don't default. If the bond is in default, then there is no calculation of accrued interest. It would trade flat. Income adjustment bonds trade flat, bonds in default trade flat, and zero income adjustment, I always say that, zero coupons trade flat. That means no calculation of accrued interest. I don't be bringing extra stuff into the question, so there's nothing here to lead us to think it's not paying, it's in default. Anyways, an investor purchasing these bonds. So you play buyer, I'll play seller. Purchasing the bonds on Friday, April 17th. Well, I'm going to tell you, the buyer, that on July 15th, you're receiving a check for the entire 6-month time frame, and not all of that check belongs to you, because these were my bonds part of January. They were my bonds for all of February, all of March, and part of April. Trade date is when we agreed to terms. And so these are still going to be my bonds as the seller on Saturday and Sunday. Settlement is when ownership changes hands. So one thing you got to be careful on is, does the question say for settlement on or trade date? So trade date, we agreed to terms. And besides the price we've negotiated for the bonds, you're also going to owe me a pro rata share of that interest check you're getting from the issuer on July 15th. They become your bonds on Monday, April 20th. Settlement is T plus one business day after the trade date. You know, business day is any day the New York Stock Exchange is open. They're not open on Saturday and Sunday. All right, so as we said, you owe me for part of January, all of February, all of March, and part of April. When I got paid on July 15th, that was for, or excuse me, January 15th, that was for up to, but not including January 15th. I've been paid for 14 days in January. Now, when we came up with the Uniform Practice Code, we didn't want our high talent men and women to have to remember nursery rhymes and knuckle humps about how many days have September. So for corporate communities under the Uniform Practice Code, every month has 30 days. So that means that I've been paid for 14 days in January, you owe me for 16. The only first month number could be either 30 or 16. All of February, all of March, up to but not including settlement, because settlement is when they become your bonds. So you owe me for 19 days in April. So you owe me, answer to the question, 95 days of accrued interest. And we figure out what the interest per day is, times it by 95, and that's what you need to add to your check in addition to whatever price we've negotiated for the bonds. Okay, now another way you can do this is what I call the shortcut. If you want to take the shortcut, you're going to take settlement. You're going to subtract the last time the bonds paid interest. In this case, that's January 15th. So 4/20 is settlement. April's the fourth month of the calendar, 20th. January's first month in the calendar, minus 15. This part I can't help you. 1 from 4 is 3 months, each having 90 days. 15 from 20 is 5. And there you go, another way to get that 95 days. All right, well, I hope you found that helpful. Again, do I think you're going to have to calculate accrued interest? I do not. It's very low probability. As I said, once in a blue moon, somebody has to calculate. Mainly recognition, mainly recognition. Okay, well, remember, inch by inch, your exam is a cinch, yard by yard, your exam is hard, and I'll see you for the next explication request.